Page 25. The Secret of the Method, Episode 25, The Inner Program and the Test of Hearts. They say they have changed. But nothing truly changed, because the same program always produces the same results. We repeat the same moves, expecting a new ending, and we call that change. But until you change the program, you will remain trapped in the same circle of illusion. Sometimes, the program is not code, it's people. Those who refuse to learn, who never understand, who never reflect, the corrupt, whose logic is frozen in fear. They must be replaced, removed, or awakened through trial. Because their inner script is written in arrogance, they act only to intimidate, never to build. So God forces them into situations that expose their lies, their contradictions, their empty promises. They say, "We will do it," but they don't. If they're given, they are pleased. If they're denied, they lie. If the tyrant is near, they flatter him. If he's gone, they stay silent. Truth must be spoken before power, not whispered behind it. It must rise, not kneel in fear. The truth is to be above, not to be hidden, beneath the fear of others. And when they are tested, they don't seek forgiveness, because they think they are beyond the test. That is the worst illusion. The trial enters quietly, without knocking, into their homes, their screens, their hearts. They say truth from afar, but never in front of its enemy. Yet truth must be said, where falsehood stands tall, even before a ruler. If he refuses to hear, his downfall draws near, and God supports the truthful against the arrogant, so do not fear them. The role of the people is not blind obedience, it is advice, correction, accountability. The subjects must not become helpers of injustice, through silence or fear. The ruler exists to judge with truth, and the people exist to remind him of it. And whoever God wills to test, you will never find for him any protection against God. Think of the phones in your hands. They serve, yes. They connect, yes. But they also seduce. They numb hearts, harden souls, feed vanity, and sow endless comparison. People wander inside them, scrolling, chasing, performing, until their souls are owned by the screen. Communities scatter, arguments multiply, and conflicts are manufactured for the amusement of the blind. And before these tools came, they weren't prepared, not spiritually, not mentally. They didn't ask God to protect them from the hidden trials. They thought trials were only what the eyes can see, not what steals the soul silently. Inner change is the first necessity. It is the hardest obstacle. And what will make you know what the obstacle is? The obstacle is you, your programming, your unseen habits, your hidden fears. The controller, God Himself, teaches you through patience, through surrender. If you follow and stay upright, He remains with you. If you resist, He withdraws, so that you may feel your loss. He wants to tell you, be certain, it is for your good. Be patient, and you'll discover the unseen reasons behind every event. Then you can face people with calm power, while they still doubt, while they still gossip. But doubt never defeats truth. Those who refuse patience cut their own connection. Some were so close, a breath away from awakening, but anger destroyed their nearness. Had they held for just an hour, they would have crossed the bridge. Patience for an hour can block a lifetime of trials. But impatience brings punishment. The trial comes as a mirror, showing the filth within. They spoke lies, claimed what wasn't in them, and sided with those who twist truth to fit desire. So the cleansing begins inside. Their hearts are sealed, their guidance withdrawn, their honor stripped, and they don't even feel it. Because their program still tells them, we are fine, we are safe, we are guided. But God said, do people think they will be left to say, we believe, and they will not be tested? They are not prepared for change. They are not among the patient, who endure until certainty comes. Humility has been lifted from them. No more tears, no more trembling before truth, no zeal for justice, no urgency for reform. They have lost shame, and so they have lost light. If they truly wanted change, they would unite, to boycott the oppressor, isolate him, hold him accountable, and defend the weak and wronged. That is how divine movement begins. By spreading sacred knowledge, not by slogans or fear. Whenever they cling to worldly systems, they block real transformation. Understand, the outer world is a test. If it doesn't match the inner world, comfort can be deception, ease can be trial. They thought prosperity was reward, but it was abundant water. To drown in heedlessness, they hastened punishment, but if it came, they would beg for delay. And God says, in the language of the heart, do you want to obey out of fear? To act only because a weapon is pointed at your soul? Then what reward is there in that? We want your obedience, born of love, not of terror. So the trial is the gift of freedom, the freedom to choose rightly, to bear responsibility for your choices. That's how God teaches mercy. So you may fall, then rise through forgiveness. And were it not for His mercy, none of us would be purified. If He punished us for every mistake, no creature would remain alive. But He gives time, so that hearts may return, learn love, and reflect kindness. Fear should not be of punishment, but of delay, of false comfort, of sins that feel small. Do not measure the sin. Measure the greatness of the one disobeyed. If you belittle sin, the disease remains in your heart, until it dies, sealed by its own negligence. For the heart lives only by remembrance of God. It must fear sins, as if mountains could fall upon it. It must tear falsehood inside itself, before it tears it outside. Because that inner war precedes every victory of truth. The sound heart sees by insight, not by sight. It runs to good, and flees from evil, because it is certain. The sincere servant neither fears blame, nor seeks praise. He is balanced, unshaken by appearances, and grows only in certainty. His life becomes a cycle of repentance, renewal, and remembrance. He blames himself, until he reaches the peaceful soul that lives in awe, that prays without pride, that changes without even realizing it. And glorified is God, the great. Headphone estimated runtime, 21 minutes. Checkmark main themes, page 25. Inner reprogramming. Lasting change begins by changing the mental and spiritual code within. Exposure of corruption. Trials unmask hypocrites who act out of fear and vanity. Truth before power. Courage is to speak truth face to face, not from afar. Hidden trials. Modern comforts like phones conceal spiritual dangers. Patience is strength. Endurance for an hour can avert disaster. Illusion of safety. Those who think they are safe are most at risk. Freedom and accountability. Trials exist so we may act freely and bear our choices. Humility and repentance. Only the self-blaming, God-conscious heart can see truth. The heart's balance. Freedom from both blame and praise brings divine stability. Remembrance and renewal. Constant dhikr and repentance awaken the soul and sustain transformation.